In this video, we're going to talk about function blocks and scheduling out the different rules within a function. Let's open up one of our rooms and click on our Controls tab. In this room, we have a couple of different function blocks. We're going to add a new function block by pressing the plus button, and we're going to add something generic, such as a thermostat function block. When we click on the function block, it'll open up the editor. In the editor at the top, we have a name that we can set for this particular function block if we choose. We can also copy, delete, save our changes, and exit out of the editor. There are several tabs that we can use to switch between different settings within this function block, but we're going to be focusing on the Rules tab, and in particular, the Schedule area. On the left-hand side here is our list for our different rules. We can create as many different rules as we want, and we can name each of those rules. For each rule, we have our settings. This is a thermostat function block, so we're going to do a simple example of setting it at 72 degrees with a dead band of, we'll say 2 degrees. Okay. So here we've got a little preview that we get to see. But realistically, what we want to do is figure out how we want to schedule these settings to be activated in this function block. Okay. So first, we need to decide whether this is a normal rule, a maintenance mode rule, or whether we want to pause this rule for some particular reason. Normal rules will operate based on how we schedule them. A maintenance mode rule will operate only when the room is in maintenance mode. Some people refer to this as spray mode. Pausing the rule will simply prevent the rule from operating. So typically, we're going to leave this as a normal rule. The next thing we'll want to select is whether we want this rule to be active only within a specific schedule stage. So if we want this only to be operating during our propagation and veg, or only during our veg, we can select that here. These are related to the room schedule, which is found on the dashboard. Okay, in the dashboard up here we have our schedule, which we talk about in a separate video, but in here we can set up different phases to schedule against. So in our function block, we can select if we want it to be operating during one of those specific scheduled phases. We can also select a specific day range, so day 1 through day 7, week 1, day 1 through week 1, day 7, or week 2, day 7, whatever you may want this to be. We can also select specific dates, so that this rule will only operate from January 6th to January 10th, for example. Time ranges, we can select any time, only allow it to operate during the day mode for the room, only for the night mode of the room, or we can select a specific time range. Okay. Likewise, we can also select specific days that we want this to be activated. Okay. So there's a lot of different options when it comes to selecting or configuring the different rules that you can copy or create so that we can have different settings during the day versus during the night. So for example, in this thermostat function, to show you that if we want this particular rule to be active only during the day, we'll save it, we'll copy it, we'll change this to night and set this to, let's just say, 68 at night. We'll save that, and then we can see when we switch back and forth between these rules, one is set for day at 72, one is set for night at 68. Okay, these are the basics of scheduling out different rules within each function block. Every function block works in the same way in that we can have as many rules as we want, and we can schedule out those rules with the different settings in the schedule group. Okay, take a look at the rest of our videos. For more information, we'll go through each different function block in the controller and explain how they work.